everyone, it's Chris, the PDX Picker. Welcome back to another video. I am a part-time eBay reseller, and let me tell you, I have a great video for you to watch today. If you are at all interested in Grail finds when it comes to collectors and Grail finds when it comes to resellers, then you need to stick around and watch this, because I had one heck of an epic Grail find over the weekend. I'm also going to pull some orders that sold for me on Poshmark and eBay, so stick around after the intro song and we'll get into all those topics.
Wanna buy that Farrah Fawcett poster? There's dispensers and a toaster. Don't know why. That kind of stuff you throw away. I'll sell on eBay.
Alright, so I'm going to start off by showing you some of the things I found out sourcing last Friday. I went to some sales just in this one town nearby me, and I didn't know what I was going to find. We never know what we're going to find out there, right? But there was, in a million years, I never thought, just walking into somebody's garage in their garage sale, I never thought I would find an item like this. It's not the most rare thing in the world. There are a few of them, but as of right now, there are none that are listed on eBay. Some have sold recently, and I'm hoping very soon mine will be, because I'll just let the cat out of the bag. This is the most I have ever spent on one item. By far, it's not even close. It's at least probably 10 times more than I've spent on any one item. So I'm very excited to show that to you. Let me show a couple of the other things that I found first. Sorry to bury the lead a little bit. And then we'll get into that item and also talk about the sales. All right, so I'm going to show you some of my finds, and I will admit off the bat that not every single one of these are good. I want you to know that I'm realistic, and I'm also not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm going to show you a couple of bad ones along with the good ones. Start off, I got this, went to a sale, bought a couple pairs of shoes. These are a pair of Reebok CrossFit, some sort of like high top shoes. Paid $5 for these. These are following my model lately of buying shoes that are good condition first and have a good sell-through rate. I think these will sell for maybe $50-$60. At the same sale I bought these. These are some Keen leather hiking shoes, also $5. Both of these I'm just going to have to take a paper towel to clean them up. Not going to need to go through my big, huge washing process. So that is a huge win for me in that regard. Those will also probably sell for, well, those will sell for about $30 to $40 plus shipping. The day before, I actually had a buy off of Facebook Marketplace. I don't know exactly how well these are going to come through. I paid $100 for these. These are all vintage iron-on shirt transfers from the 70s. Like, here's Scooby-Doo. You can kind of see that one well. I won't go through all of these, obviously. This one, some of them I don't think have a ton of value. This is an old, inappropriate joke. Wizard of Oz. There's some Star Wars ones in here. Here's a Grease one. Starsky and Hutch. But there's a couple of Star Wars ones in here. There's several Sgt. Pepper's Beatles ones. The Star Wars ones especially, I've seen those sell $30 and up. It's going to be long tail. Some of these I'll probably need to lot up, and they might even still only sell for $15 for 3 or 4 of them. But for some of the other ones, I can get $15 to $35 or $40 each for. I'm excited about that. I don't know exactly how quickly they'll sell, like I said, but that's just neat. I mean, that somebody had all of those at one time still. New old stock from the 70s was cool. Found a couple of 49ers club head covers that I bought for $1 each. These probably will sell for right around $15 to $20 or so. So not too bad. Here's an item I bought that's just kind of cool. Doesn't really have a lot of value. It's an old boomerang. Paid $1 for this. Thought I could just play around with it in the backyard. The same sale, I also paid $1 for this, and this actually does have value. I'm a disc golfer, so I bought this for personal use, but I don't know, I might keep it myself. No, not keep it myself. I might be tempted to sell it because it has so much value. This is an Arrow putter by the company Aerobee. This sells for like $30 to $40. So used disc golf discs don't necessarily sell for that much money. So to get as much as $40 for this, that's a pretty good score. This was a real good win. This is an Ecobee smart thermostat. Paid $40 for this. This can sell for about $120, $130 free shipping. The sell-through rate on these is insane. It's new in the box, so should be a really good sale. I bought that at the same place that I got the Grail item. I'll show you a couple of not so great ones. I went to a church rummage sale. They had this, what looked like a really nice high quality curling iron. It was only $3. There's something about it looked like it was going to be good quality. I didn't take the time to comp it because my hands were super full. I forgot to bring a bag there. It's by a company called Ion. It might sell for like $12 to $15, so not horribly bad, but certainly not. If I really had comped it, I don't think I would have bought it. Simultaneously, this might be okay just because of the volume of these, but same place that I bought the Grail item, they had this box of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cards by O-Pee-Chee from, I think, right around 1990. There's 1,000 cards in there, supposedly. It's give or take 50, but there's at least 950, maybe even more than 1,000 cards in there. I paid essentially $10 for it, and those cards don't sell well. Like, if you look at the sold comps on eBay, there's not very many at all. But I think there should be a couple sets that I can put together in here. I think the whole set has anywhere between 60 and 80 cards. Hopefully there's maybe 4 or 5 sets that I can put together in there for like $20 each. So that could be $80 to $100. I might be able to sell the whole lot for $50, probably. You know, somebody might be willing to spend $50 on 1,000 of those cards. Just not a great sell-through rate. So if it does sell, it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be quick, but I don't know if somebody's had that many to sell all at once anytime recently. So that might save me in that regard. A couple others I'll go over quickly. I paid $4 for a Carhartt vest, or a Carhartt hoodie, zippered hoodie, but it does have a company logo on there, so might only sell for $20 because of that. I got this Humminbird, new in the box, fish finder. It's a little bit of an older model, but one sold in the last 90 days for $210 plus shipping, and I got that for $50. And then down below it is an Okuma rod rack, basically a place that you can store your rods. I got that for $5. I think that can sell for about $40 plus shipping. So those are really good. This is interesting. This is the last thing I'll show you before the Grail. This is a small duffel bag. I paid $10 for it. I didn't know much or anything about the company, but I just looked like, you see how like the zipper is like really high quality. So I'll tell you, that's what clued me in to look into this more. You know, I thought, well, if they're going to use these high quality zippers, that might mean it's a good item. And the company is Andiamo. Some condition issues, but this is I think it's a designer brand. And I haven't seen, or I didn't see this exact comp, but this model on eBay, but I bet you I can get anywhere at least 50 to maybe $100 for this. It's a wide range. I don't know. It's, like I said, it's got some condition issues, but I think it's a good one, so that was a good pickup. There were some other things in here. I got 2 sets of these Craftsman driver bit, like screwdriver driver. I can't remember what they're called, but this kind of head on it. So those will hopefully sell for like $20 each, and then a DVD as well. All right, so without further ado, the Grail item. Like I said, the same place that I bought the Ecobee thermostat and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle O-Pee-Chee cards. What the situation was, there was a older couple, you know, late 50s, early 60s. They were downsizing out of their house and moving into a smaller house, and they just had some random things that they just didn't have the space for. So that was why this particular item was for sale. It had a really high price on it, but when I saw it, I'm like, when am I ever going to come across one of these, especially at a garage sale? Some of you may watch the YouTuber Froggy Flips, Anthony out of Indiana. He is a high-end toy collector, and what he likes to do is, he always says there's tons and tons of things that you could just buy off of eBay. He could buy off of eBay to fill a hole in his collection, or just buy a line of toys vintage toys that he's interested in. But he doesn't like to do that because he likes the thrill of the hunt and the surprise of finding something out in the wild, as he says. And I took that into mind when I saw this, because just the idea that I probably will never, ever come across one of these again made me open up my wallet. It made me open up the purse strings, because it was a bit of history for myself. I don't know if I'll ever come across anything like this. So without further ado, what it is right here. I've got a in the box, never before used. It's not sealed, but all of the packaging, all the stuff that protects the Super Nintendo inside here. This is a Super NES Mario set. So it's got that special Super Mario disc in it. Comes with a disc that has 5 different Super Mario games on there. Never used. Wow. For those of you that were like me, I knew it was probably a big deal. I didn't know how much of a big deal it was. So the story of why this guy had it, because there was nothing else really like it there. The stuff that was for sale was just, it was a lot of just your typical normal stuff that really wasn't that exciting. But then this was up in the corner behind where he was sitting, and the price tag on it, by the way, was $950. The story behind it is, he said, but that's not how much I paid for it, but that's what the price tag on it was. He said he and his family lived in, I think it was a different house, but it might have been that house. And back in like the year 1999 or so, they had a house fire that took out part of their house. Took out a room or two, probably their family room area. And so they put in an insurance claim, and one of the things that they put in a claim for insurance-wise was the Super Nintendo. Well, by that time, but not, I think at the time of the fire, and then definitely by the time the insurance company filled the claim, their son, who had the Super Nintendo originally, he wasn't into that system anymore. He was playing different video games, or wasn't playing video games at all. So when the insurance company, instead of sending them a check for the costs or the value of the Super Nintendo, they actually sent them this box. They sent them this box in the mail as part of their insurance claim. And because the son wasn't into playing, it just sat. It just sat there. And it sat there. And so since from essentially the year 2000 until now. And by the way, this came out, this year on it is 1995. So this set is from, I'm pretty sure this set is from 1995. It even has this, retailer must mail this card immediately to validate customer proof of purchase. So, like that card is on the back. It's never been removed. But it sat there for about 25 years. And the person running the sale, he was a bit of a salesman, but he said, he looked recently, and he said that a couple of months ago, maybe it was a year, it was a year or two ago, he saw that one of those sold on auction for $2,200. Well, that certainly piqued my interest. So I'm thinking $950 into $2,200 on auction, pretty good deal, obviously. But a lot of risk. Because I certainly wasn't carrying that amount of cash with me. So I took a moment, I kind of walked away from him, thought about it a little bit, and I went back to him and I said, "Hey, would you take $750? And there was no hesitation in his mind. He said yes. So he must have had a number in mind, and I either hit it or was above it. So I paid $750 for this. But the good news is, this exact system, the Super NES Mario set, has a sold comp just from last month for $2,700. I'll flash that comp up here so you can see it. So I am hoping there's no others listed. There are several other Super Nintendo Entertainment System in the box, not used. I think there are a couple others that are listed right now, but not this specific Mario set one. So, if you are a Super Nintendo fan and a Nintendo fan in general, and of course, and a Mario fan specifically, this might be your holy grail. Now, some people will say, is this worthy? And I'm not into doing this at all unless it made sense, but I'm just not an expert at it. But is this worthy of getting graded? You can actually send this in to a grading company. They will, of course, examine it and then put it in a special plastic case and assign a numerical grade to it. I think between 0 and 100. And just like baseball cards and Pokemon cards, the higher the rating, the more rare it is and the more valuable it is. I don't know exactly how much it would cost to do that, but I have a feeling it would be multiple hundreds of dollars. And to be honest, this box is not pristine. I don't know if you can see it, but there are a few storage wear marks right there. It's fairly bad. The tape has been cut on one section. There's some paint missing from the front. I have no idea how they would grade this, but I can't imagine it would be worth the price of grading. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have value, because like I said, there's that sold comp of $2,700 with, in my mind, maybe even my box is a little bit, I think, if I remember correctly, my box is a little bit better. So, well, here's another. There's a dent in the box, like a small little dent in the box right there. So there's, in my mind, there is no way that is worth grading. Comment below if you're into this sort of thing, and based off of what I'm showing you here, you think it might be worth grading. The dent is on the underside there. I don't know if that's going to come through, but my plan is to just sell it as is. And because I'm the only one, when I go to list this, I'll be the only one on there. I'm gonna shoot for 3,000, maybe. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited. There's a lot of risk. There is a lot of risk. I ended up Venmoing the guy the money, $800, because of the two other things that I bought. That's not the risk that I'm talking about. I'm not worried about that. But that is a lot of money to pay for one item. But the reward potential is great. I could make almost $2,000 just off of that item alone. I mean, that is my profit for a whole month at times. So to profit that off of one item is so exciting. That's super exciting. So hopefully that actually does pan out that way. But anyway, let's go ahead and start pulling those orders. I had quite a few things sell on Poshmark and some good sales on eBay as well. So let's get into them. All right. Well, let's start with the Poshmark orders. Had a couple of decent sales on there. 3 total. Starting off with some Olakai flip-flops. These right here. This is a model that has a leather strap on it, and for whatever reason, it seems like that leather strap doesn't sell as well. These are the Kapuna model. Picked these up for $6. They only sold for $24 free shipping, but I still made $16 on those. Well, my earnings after everything were $16, so net I made $10 on that. This is a pair of barefoot style shoes that I saw for sale at my thrift store, and they were in basically brand new condition, so I thought I had to pay $15 for them. And the sell-through rate on them was okay. I think there's just not a lot of them listed. I think there were only like 6 listed or something like that. But they didn't sell on eBay, but they did sell relatively quickly. Like, I only just recently cross-listed them on Poshmark about 2 weeks ago, and they already sold. All right, so these were new. They're they only spent $8 or $9 on them. They are Origo, Origo, Origo. The model on them is your everyday sneaker. Yeah, the everyday sneaker, and those sold for $50 plus shipping. So that's what it looks like. You can kind of see inside there. And then lastly, for Poshmark, I spent $12.99 on this. I thought it was going to be better. And maybe it would have been if I had waited. There was a comp on this that was higher than what I sold it for. This is a vintage Nike track jacket, double XL. I ended up taking an offer for $29 plus shipping on it. I had it listed at $45, but I bought it late in the season. Like I bought it in mid to late spring. I had like no views on it on eBay. So for whatever reason, I had a couple people making offers on Poshmark. Poshmark clothes sell way better in the summer, in my opinion, than on eBay. So I need to do a better job of cross-listing for clothes on Poshmark in the summer, because most of the time eBay, outside of shoes, eBay clothes in the summer are not, especially jackets and things like that, they just do not move very well at all. So those were the Poshmark sales. And I had quite a few eBay sales as well. 14 items have sold for me on eBay since Friday. I'm not going to pull all of those. I'm running a big sale, a 50% sale, 50% off sale on a bunch of my older items. I am just wanting to get rid of stuff. And basically anything that is 180 days old or older, I'm just ready to move on. So I sold this. This is a vintage Mattel Whizzer. It's like an Italian model. Like this one they sold in Italy. Or maybe in, I don't know, somewhere in Europe. I think it might have German on it. Anyway, bought it for $10 at an estate sale, and that sold for $34.97 plus shipping. It's in the box. I don't think it was used. I still made a good profit off of it, even though it was 50% off. Well, a decent profit. But I'm just excited to get it out, because I haven't had a lot of things sell in my 50% off sale, but anything that's getting out here, I'm excited about. I sold 2 more lots, and maybe I have one more currently listed, but 2 more lots of Lala Loopsy Tinies. I hadn't sold any of these in like a month, and then 2 of them sold over the weekend. This grouping was $16.99 free shipping, and then I had this group here. So maybe I shouldn't take it out because I don't know if I've labeled them. This group here sold for $15.99 free shipping. So I think I might have one more listed, and I still have this group here to go through. So once again, Lala Loopsy Tinies, the gift that keeps on giving. I sold another Harley item, so it's funny, I was griping about Harley and how they never sold, and then now I've sold like 5 things in the last month or so. This is a sleeveless hoodie, Dudley Perkins Company. Right there, I'm like, this doesn't say Harley on it. Right there on the front is the Harley logo, and that sold on eBay for $25 plus shipping. I only paid $5 for this because it was cut off sleeves. So pretty good profit on that. 5 into 25. And then this, it was sitting in my death pile forever because I didn't exactly know what to do with it. And it's going to be a little bit of a bear to ship. I'll use a 48 by 4 by 4, but it's not. I'm going to have to attach a box to it on the outside. This is something I got at the Goodwill outlet, and based off of weight, I probably paid right around $3 for it. It is a fencing saber, and it is by a company called Elective. So the company is Elective. The brand, or the model, I should say, of saber is Absolute. It is one of those that you can connect like electronic sensor to, so that if you touch the other person, a light will light up so that there's proof that you hit them. Wasn't able to test it though. I don't know how any of that works, but I sold that for $39.99 plus shipping on that one. So really good for, like I said, around a $3 pickup at the Goodwill outlet. At first I thought about keeping it just because it's like, oh cool, basically like a sword, but this is just a dumb thing to keep. I did keep it for about a year and a half, so in many ways you could say I did keep it. I sold something from my storage unit. Well, from the storage unit buy. This is a set of Hamilton Wizard of Oz dolls. So these sold for $35.99 free shipping. This is from, I think, the 80s. This is a lollipop boy. Got a ballerina girl. And then the wizard himself. It's a little wonky. Anyway, $35.99 free shipping on those. I do have another lot, pretty similar to this, I think, that I'll also put up. Those have some value. I don't know if I ever would have bought them if I didn't buy them as part of the storage unit, but not too bad on profit for that. It probably cost me about $10 to ship them. I have 2 good shoe sales, and then I'm going to show you just a bunch of real, like, not that great little sales. Still getting used to this gimbal for my camera. I don't know if I really like it, but hopefully from a viewer perspective, it is better. Let me tell you, from a filming perspective, it is not better. Paid $6 for these. This is a pair of Ultra Lone Peak Alpine shoes. Ultra, one of my favorite, maybe my favorite shoe to resell for reasons such as this. I listed these on, I think, Saturday, and they already sold $35 plus shipping. Nice, good condition. I did clean these up, though. And then the big sale of the day, especially when it comes to shoes. Let me grab it up here and show you in a second. All right, here they are right here. This is a pair of Z-Coil shoes with these weird, funky heels on them. They're some sort of like physical therapy training type shoes. I ended up paying up for these. I paid $20. These are 50% off at my thrift store. But those sold for $89.99 free shipping. So $90 free shipping, basically, let's just say $75 or so. So really good on that one. Just a weird, funky shoe. The reason why I listed them so high, some of these only sell for like $40, $45, but they were in super, super nice condition, which of course always is a huge factor in shoes, and they're a really good size. I don't know if there were a lot of others listed in that size. So it took about 2 months to sell, but eventually it did. I also sold something. I bought these a long time ago, didn't list them forever. Ended up selling for some good profit. This is a medium duty truck Chevrolet service manual from 1977. Paid about $1 for this. With a whole bunch of other car related things, mostly Chevy. So that was pretty good. $30 free shipping on that one. All right, well, like I said, I've got a bunch of just little low dollar things because I'm, like I said, trying to clear out some of the older stuff. So for those of you that are interested in stuff that does sell, but just not for a ton of money, stick around. Right here we have a Nike Pro Combat Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball shirt. Paid $4 for this, and it sold for $10 plus shipping on that. That's going to pay my mortgage, let me tell you. This one was funny, but once I saw I got a message about it. We bought this for my son, my oldest son Aiden, back for Christmas many years ago, and he never used it. He was interested in becoming an architect for a while, so we got him this Tiny Houses architecture kit. New in package. I think we got it off of Amazon or something. I've had that listed forever. I eventually marked it down to $5 plus shipping. Somebody sent me an offer of $3 plus shipping. The shipping on it said $13.95 for some reason. Just stupid. That's something I should have listed for $20 free shipping or $15 free shipping, something like that. But anyway, I got a message from a teacher that said they're buying a bunch of these for their classroom and they're hoping to spend around $16 each. So that's why she offered me that, and I gladly accepted that offer. Basically, anytime a teacher says they're going to buy something for the classroom, that's a soft spot for me. So I'm going to give them essentially whatever deal they want at that point. So for you teachers watching, look in my store. Do you want something for your classroom? Now, if you're buying some shoes or something, it'll be pretty obvious it's not for your classroom. So don't put one over on me that way. This I got at a an estate sale for $4. It sold for $12 plus shipping. It's cool. It's like a safari hat by a company called Trimminghams. So it's a Trimminghams Bermuda Straw Pith Helmet. $12 plus shipping on that. Had it listed a lot higher, took a much lower offer. Almost said awful. Looking back on this, I should not have bought this. It's pretty obvious because of it's just not useful for most folks in the United States. All right, took me forever to find, but I finally found it. It's this Philips Satinel like epilator hair removal device, but that's the plug-in there for it, so you can see it's some sort of European model. In fact, they don't even sell this in the States at all, at least that brand or whatever, or that model. But because of that, it took a long time, and I finally took an offer, $10.50 plus shipping. Paid $6. There's another one that's like battery operated. It's paid $6 for both of them, so $3 each. All right. Last item of the day. This one I might be breaking even on at best, but let's get it out of here. It is a Stetson Pearl Snap shirt. Here it is right here. A really nice color, XL. You know, Stetson's a good brand of hat. Sold that one for $10 plus shipping. I don't know what I paid for it. It was too much. Probably $7.50 would be my guess. Something of that nature. So essentially just broke even on it. But it's been listed forever. Happy to get it out. Because I don't want my store to be full of clunkers. I want to, over this past year, I've noticed statistically that about 60 to 75% of my items that I've listed sell within 90 days. So the newly listed items this year, as many as 75% of them sell within 90 days. Sometimes it dips down to about 60%. So that's 25 to 40% of my items that are taking longer than 90 days to sell, which is fine. But there are certain items, Christmas, holiday, seasonal type items that I understand will take longer. Even some clothing items, you're not going to sell a ton of winter jackets and winter boots in the summer. Vice versa, you're not going to sell a lot of flip-flops and shorts in the winter. So I do know that some of those things will take longer to sell depending on what time of year it is, but I don't want them. I don't want them clogging up my store. I don't want them taking up space. So I am just happy to get rid of them, hopefully break even, hopefully make a little bit of profit, but I'm okay with breaking even as well. That's just the business. I want to get stuff out. I don't want to sit on it. It's not doing anybody any good to sit on things. So especially these lower dollar items. If it's a $3,000 Super NES, I might sit on that for a little bit of time. But not something that I have listed for $25. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's video. As always, thank you to the PDX Posse member, Harley Gal. Really appreciate your support, as always. And any of you that watch, like, comment, and subscribe, you're also hold a special place in my heart for certain. So thank you again for watching. Please like this video if you did. Subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. I am about halfway through my first month of my daily reseller wisdom shorts. I'm enjoying them. I think some people are getting some value out of them. So if you're not a subscriber, do consider subscribing just to get those as well. Thanks again. Good luck with all of your ventures out there, reselling or otherwise. We'll catch you on the next video. Take care.